Hello guys, you're welcome to my so the returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back, and if this is your first time here, I'm glad that you stopped by. My name is AMARAGLOW and this is my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about a topic that is quite dear to me, maybe because I've experienced it firsthand. I've lived in the hospital. Is it lived? Anyway, I've spent a good amount of time in the hospital. I've been a caretaker in the hospital, and I've seen what it's like to be in the hospital environment. I mean, it's not the best place to be in. It has a way of humbling you. You know, sometimes you feel like the things we are going through, that you feel like your own case scenario is the worst case scenario. Your matter don't was pass. That is because you've not visited the hospital. If you visit the hospital, you will be grateful. You will be thankful. I don't mean that. I'm not trying to say that anybody's problem is not significant. I'm just trying to say that no matter what it is that you feel like you're going through, there are people that are seeing worse, that have seen worse. Alright, so another thing I want to mention here is we have to be grateful for health. Good health is not a small thing. No. It is not a minimal thing. It is a big miracle. So let's never get to that point where we underestimate the miracle of good health. The fact that you can see clearly with your two eyes, you can hear, you can breathe in well without needing oxygen support, you can eat what you like, you can eat through your mouth, you can use the toilet when you want to, how you want to, you can do a lot of things that some people cannot do. I mean, it's a big deal. Health is a big deal. If at any point you feel that health is not a big deal, please visit a hospital and you will be humbled. Okay, so a few years back, I got to spend some time in the hospital with my dad and my mom. My dad was the ill one, then my mom and I who were tending to him. I was in my third year in the university then. So being in that place, it did something to me. Like, it shook me. There are some things that you will see that you will never ever forget for life. So it just made me to be grateful. Not in a bad way, but things are going on, happened. And before I continue, I need to give a big shout out to my gender. You guys know that in that hospital, in the male ward of that hospital, though the patients were male, but we had more of female there. Why? The wives, the sisters, the girlfriends, the daughters, the fiancés, the grandmothers are always available. Like, they were the caregivers there. There is a capacity in our nature to give care. We are natural caregivers, we're natural care tenders. So shout out to your mom, your sister, your daughter. Our gender, what we do is not for the faint-hearted. And it was a general hospital. You know, there's no provision for the caregivers. The beds are only for the patients. I don't want to go into all the gory details of how we slept and how we cooked and all that. That's just for another day. Back to the gist I really want to talk about. So that day, my dad had just finished eating. He was sleeping. I was sitting beside his bed, and my mom was outside. Then a couple walked in. You know, when there are some people that when they walk in, their presence is just, let's say, commands respect, or their presence is just, what's that English word again? Anyways, so when they walked in, I was immediately drawn to them. They looked very important. At first, I felt like, okay, probably they are doctors on ward round, or they came to visit someone. That was my thinking, because they did not look sick. In fact, if anything, they looked over healthy. They looked over happy. So guess what now happened? The nurse now brought them to the bed after my dad's bed. My curiosity was at the peak. I was like, what's going on here? What is happening? Then I started unpacking unpacking their things. You don't know, like when you get into a hotel room, you now start unpacking your things and settling in. So that was going on, and my curious mind was still wondering, what's bringing these guys here? Like, what's going on? They don't look sick to me, because they were talking and laughing heartily. They were very and they were very nice. I greeted them. They responded well. The man even said I looked like his daughter and all that and all that. So I was still wondering, but of course I did not ask yet. We just settled in. I think she asked me a couple of questions about where to get things in the hospital and all that, and I gave her my answers. Going okay, they were talking well and all that, just, giving us some real couple goals. The wife was a really, really lovely. Time to eat, and what I saw that day, this is now the thing that taught me the lesson. Time to eat. The woman now brought out, these white plastic buckets that you can use to sterilize baby stuff, the little measuring cups, the little funnels, a flask, and all that. Like, the way she was preparing, you would think that there's a baby that she wants to feed, but there was no baby inside. So I was still watching. So after sterilizing those utensils and all that, she poured in pap into the plate from the flask. You would believe that she was making baby food, but there was no baby anywhere. There was no baby in the world at all. So when she was done with that, she lifted her husband's polo. It was quite a loose polo. She lifted it, and the whole of his stomach was covered in plasters. And then from one side, there was a little tube protruding, like a little tube. These white tubes that they use in the hospitals. I can't quite figure out the name. But she brought out the tube, then she inserted the little funnel. She started pouring the pap in gently. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. I was in serious shock. She started pouring in the pap gently. Then after that, she poured in water gently. And while the process of feeding was going on, they were still talking like normally, something that they are probably used to. So when my mom came in, she started discussing with the lady, woman to woman talk. And then we found out that the man had an issue with his throat. I think it was cancer or something with his throat. But nothing could go down his throat, not food, not water, not even saliva. When she was telling this story, I could not imagine it, because how does water quench your thirst if it has not entered your mouth and passed through? How is food without feeling the taste? Because that man was just eating because he had to. He was eating to survive, not because he could feel the taste of the food or anything. It was a very horrible situation. It was a really, really horrible situation. And someone seeing that man, like looking at him, without looking at him, you would never, ever, ever guess that he had such a thing going on with him. So it just got me thinking, like, people are going through things, so it's not written on the face. Just be kind to people, because people have their own baggages. That person, you think that, things are going on rosy, things are going on well, this person is living a chill life. If everybody starts opening their chapter one by one, you will be shocked. So people go through a lot. Like, imagine if that man got into a brawl or a fight with someone, and the person now hit his stomach, not knowing what was going on. It would have been a different story altogether. So apart from that, there was another case, like different. The hospital will just teach you things, different case scenarios. Okay, there was this case of a man that was in a coma. He was on oxygen support for quite some time. He had been like that. So on this particular day, his daughter was with him throughout the day till evening. She decided to go into town because the hospital was in not so rural, but not in the town. That was where the hospital was, in a kind of semi-rural environment. So she rushed into town to pick some things, and as soon as she left, like an hour after she left, the man woke up and started requesting for his daughter. So the nurses were trying to calm him down, like his daughter is coming, They started calling her on the phone. He was like, call my daughter, that he wants to tell her something, At the point, the head nurse was even like, okay, pass your message across. When she comes in, we'll tell her. The man refused. They started trying to call the daughter. They got her on the phone. She said, okay, she's coming. Do you know that before she would get to the hospital, the man had already passed and he had been moved to the mortuary? Like, death in the hospital, I think, is not an abnormal thing. Like, it happens. We sleep and wake up today, and this person is no more, has been moved to the mortuary. So, at the first day it happened, I couldn't sleep that night. Like, I was like, wow, this man is, like, seriously, he's now in the morgue. Like, the hospital is a place of... And another thing, some people are in the hospital not because they have not recovered, but because they cannot pay their hospital bills. You know, sickness, being in the hospital, it has a way of draining finances. It can make you bankrupt. It's just like it will put pipe into your savings, into your account, and suck everything dry, because it is not cheap. Getting good medication is expensive. It is expensive. That is why when people are saying stuff like don't self-medicate, don't visit the chemist and all that. So when people are not going to the hospital, sometimes it's not because they don't want to. It's because they don't have the money to. So they would rather go and visit the chemist, tell the chemist this is it and this is it, mix more, than they mix drugs for them. Because when they calculate the cost of, you now go to the hospital, you now run this test, another thing that prevents you from going is the fear of, they don't want to hear big, loud diagnosis. So I don't blame them that much, even though you should visit the hospital. But man, is it when you're looking for, when people are looking for money to eat, they'll now start going to spend the money that they don't have. People are in the hospital and they are already in debt. They don't know. In fact, in that place, I had cases of patients jumping fence and running away when they recover, because they cannot pay the bills. It's that bad. I was telling my dad one of those days, because he used to feel that his situation is the worst. Clinical. You know that when he got to that hospital, he became the encourager. He became the one motivating and inspiring other patients, because man, you can't be complaining when someone is looking at your case as a very hopeful situation. So things like that. I met a 25-year-old guy that all his life they've been from one hospital to another. He has never had the opportunity to have an education and all that. And another thing, it drains the family members. It is not easy to take care of a sick person. It is not an easy job. It is draining on the person, both on the person that is ill and on the family. It is draining to see your loved ones suffer. It is not a good thing to pass through. It is not a good experience. I'm putting out a call to action if you're watching this video. If you have loved ones or friends or people that you know that are in the hospital, you can do a lot to help them. You can do a lot to encourage and give them hope. That phone call, that text message, the prayers, it does a lot. The visitations, it is a whole lot. It's a great deal. It is a great deal. So as much as you can do these things. And as much as possible also, you can give cash gifts, because a lot of spending goes on in the hospital. Drugs are expensive. Buying a pint of blood is expensive. Being on oxygen support is expensive. The kind of tests and scans that happen, they are very expensive. So as much as you can, give cash gifts to go a long way to really help them to offset some bills. And also get them, when you're visiting, you can come with fruits. You know, a lot of people in the hospital are on special diets, so they can't just eat anything. So you don't just go and fry stew and but you can buy fruits. At least I don't know if I'm 100% correct, but I feel like fruit is a very good option for those that are ill. So as much as you can, do not forget those in the hospital. Put that call across, send that text message. Let them know that you care for them. Let them know that you're praying for them. Let them know that you are rooting for them, that you want them to get well quick. And if you want to do a donation, the hospital is a very good place to do a donation. Probably you want to you have money that you want to donate, or you have food stuff you want to donate to people, the hospital is a good place to do that. So the point of this video is just to remind us never to underestimate the miracle of good health, to always remember those in the hospital, because I'm sure you would know someone that has been in the hospital, or maybe not even in the hospital, maybe they've been discharged from the hospital and now they're managing the situation from home. You can still reach out to them, make that call, send that text message, send that gift, do that visitation. It is good. It is you being humane. So if you've watched this video to this point, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your view. So you can let me know that in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? What are other ways that we can be of help to those that are in the hospital, or those that are going through ill health, those that are going through sickness, those that are going through tough times, and another thing, this is going to be a story for another day. But I feel like a great percentage of Nigerians do not know how to handle grief, do not know how to pay condolence, do not know how to communicate with grieved people, with people that are dealing with a loss. So that is going to be in another video, not in this video. So thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. I'm waiting for your comments in the comment section below. So thank you.